All right, FHF AC back, cooling down the heat.
Yup, and hollering out the truth, especially in this pod.
You know what's weird, guys? Like, I miss cussing in our intro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, off topic.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore. For at least the first minute. Is it still the first minute?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I think that's like the most fire intro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of disappointed that we swayed away from it.
Yeah, can't really do it.
Yeah.
As much. Unless you're like sacrificing demonetization later on when we do get monetized, but
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big cusser.
Oh yeah, you're just naturally that way.
Yeah, but you know, I guess I'm trying to be better. As, you know, maturing and stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel like it's best to use it for special occasions that are like, so it's more meaningful to use stronger words.
I just think cussing puts so much empathy in words.
Yeah, it does.
Or
it's
like,
just like
what are you trying to say at least?
Yeah. It's like way different than the kid just like saying random bad words. That's like meaningless type of way of using it, but
like when you're having discussion, when you're cussing, I think it's a little bit
especially,
more impactful.
Yeah, especially if you're living in the moment.
Yeah.
You know? And then
like, fuck yeah.
yeah. Bring some excitement to the table.
Yeah. Anyways, that was not the discussion of the pod. We just got
completely
a
different
topic.
Yeah.
Today's discussion of the pod is, you know, about being lonely. I mean, previously we talked. We had a discussion about men's mental health.
Oh yeah.
And then
it's kind of similar-ish.
Yeah. It leads up to. So for me, being alone, I think it brings a lot of positive.
Mm-hmm.
And it could bring a lot of negatives.
Yeah, true.
It really depends on the circumstance of being alone. Yeah,
true. Because it can be like imbalanced too.
Yeah.
Like, and it also can depend how extroverted and introverted you are too.
Well, another good story to bring up is Avery's story.
Oh,
like, he was alone, and you know, because he didn't meet any friends from going to school.
Technically that's already gonna be released, right?
Yeah. But basically, he hasn't. You know, he's taken away from school. Wasn't able to meet friends. And then
for a long period of time. Nowadays he's catching up.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, being lonely during that time for him, it was just, you know, so much mental battle. He couldn't, you know, he couldn't fight it a bunch of times, like not consistently. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where it just impacted him like really negatively.
Yeah, it did, and I can just tell just from like vouching for him. Like I was there.
Yeah.
I was there for him in the moment, and I can tell you he went, you know, a long ways though, but it was a rough start.
Hey, but I'm really proud of him though.
Me too.
He grabbed himself out of that situation. Now he's not alone.
Yeah, it's been a year since he moved out.
Yeah.
Like
you know what that sounds like?
Year anniversary.
But
a lot to go through within just a year.
Yeah, and then another thing is there's another thing about, you know, being lonely, like a good thing, like another example.
He's a big example of when he used to be lonely. Like he's not so lonely anymore, obviously, but like a year plus ago he was.
I think for me another good thing, a good thing about being lonely, like loneliness, is that when you're lonely, you're not easily distracted by others. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can kind of get that. So you can focus easier.
Like a prime example for me is that I was able to like focus, like going to the gym, like a lot of personal goals too, like, you know, working and trying to, you know, extend myself out of like the job I'm currently into by doing other stuff like the podcast or stuff like that.
Yeah, because as I can kind of get what you mean, because like being with someone can be kind of a distraction towards that, because not everybody has the same goals and the same you know thing they're trying to do, and then that can distract you if you have some differences like that.
And I think for me though, being alone was a good thing too, because like I think it pushed me to be not alone. Look for friends.
I see what you mean.
That's
like, funny you say that, because like recently I was like more motivated. To like be social if I get the opportunity. And for example, you know, it's actually kind of a funny coincidence. An example is that I was invited to a party like fairly recently, like last Friday.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since I went, so I was kind of hesitant, but at the same time, I was like, okay, I'm like more socially hungry, so I was like, I'm just gonna wing it and go for it.
Yeah.
And I went to the party, and I had a good time. Didn't regret it at all. It felt like it feels like more refreshing too.
Yeah.
Because I had so much time to like recharge, like
exactly.
like by myself. Because I'm an introvert, and I recharge being alone, basically.
Yeah. Also, like, if you work in like customer service space, like restaurants and like I don't know anything that has to do with customer service related jobs. You're so attentive to customers. You're constantly socializing and, trying to make a good name for yourself or the company you work for. You get so socially exhausted where you just want to be alone too.
I get that. Yeah.
Like, for example, I work at a restaurant.
That's why I didn't want to work up front.
Yeah, I work in the front. I constantly talk.
I
constantly talk to customers, and I have to like put a fake image of myself. Not like a real like Augie. Like it was a fake Augie. Like, I'll be like, hey, welcome in. How can I help you today?
I can kind of tell you talk to customers differently.
Yeah, and then I have to like raise my voice.
I feel like you
stuff.
Put your white voice on for them.
Yeah, I had to like raise my voice and stuff, and like sometimes like, I like back then I like to kick it alone and just being by myself. But now it's a little different because I have a girlfriend. I feel like I still have my alone time, and I feel like I know how to like, work around it and make compromises and work within both of our schedules and being able to find my alone time, and hopefully, yeah. I can't even speak English right now. Sorry guys. That she can find her alone time too, and then find that balance.
Yeah. It's like it's good to I feel like balance is kind of key because like too much of either one can be like affect you bad mentally. It kind of goes back to mental health again. But it makes sense.
Yeah, but like also like when you're like depressed and sad and you're being alone majority of the time, sometimes like it's good and sometimes it's not. The good aspects of it is like, okay, like you're alone, like what can I do to get out of like my depression? Like, oh, I can like work out and like do all these things and like be outgoing and meet like new people or like you said, attend to parties or whatever like that.
Yeah. Like you're more hungry, socially hungry. Yeah,
that like that hunger will bring you out to those things in a positive connotation.
And on the other hand, it could be the opposite where you've been out with too many people and you're like, I don't want to go. It could be the opposite too. But
and then the negative side of being lonely is just like, you don't really have much people surrounding you. You can't really talk about your problems. Like back then when I had my girlfriend, like I felt alone. Like I felt like nobody really loved me shit. Even though like I had family loving me. And I have friends loving me, but I feel like I felt like I was alone still. Like, I feel like I had no like
it's
significant
weird
other.
because you feel like around like the close people you're around all the time, you can still feel alone deep down.
Yeah.
I think somehow.
Yeah, I think I just needed love in a different way where my girlfriend was able to give that to me, and now I don't feel like as alone as I did before.
Which I can feel that.
Pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's also like another drive from loneliness where you want to find a partner that will make you not feel like you're ever alone. Yeah,
true. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I feel like friendships and relationship is like a different type of loneliness.
You know. We can speak about like all the topics we talked about in our previous pod.
Oh yeah, like
because
the mental health one.
Yeah, the mental health one, the relationships.
I mean, they can all connect, right?
Yeah,
they all kind of connect.
We had your brother Avery in the podcast. We a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
like
we can make tiebacks.
Yeah, a lot. I feel like a lot of us start out being lonely, and then we have the drive to continue, motivate, build knowledge and stuff like that, and then pass ourselves from the past to move forward into the future better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Instead of like reflecting on the past so much, because loneliness can do that to you. Because especially the last couple months, I experienced like loneliness, and that's why I was so eager to go to the party, even though I'm rusty. But it's also refreshing.
You know what hits though when you're lonely? You're just sitting in the room in your thoughts gets to you.
Yeah.
And then this is a huge discussion that Avery, Desmond, and I had a
that makes sense.
We had in the podcast.
He was stuck in his own head for a while.
I mean, you were even there, recording us, but like the constant like talking in your head goes so far where you can't even be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, true. I hate being like stuck in my head, especially the last couple of months I've been. Yeah. Because I do go to work, but work is mostly just me and my dad because he's a landscape entrepreneur. And it's just working.
Hopefully we get him on the pod too.
Oh yeah, at the end of this month. That's
entrepreneur
in a couple weeks.
Mindset pod.
Oh yeah, that's
good. Landscape.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that one, especially after all the work we've been through lately. Yeah, we've been working hard.
You guys
lately.
could probably talk about some of the work that you guys been doing.
Yeah,
too.
Definitely. There's plenty of like recent work that we're definitely gonna talk about. Yeah.
But what were you saying about like working and being in your own head?
Oh yeah,
and
like
just working with your dad.
Yeah, it's just like, especially after like getting laid off from the restaurant where I'm around like a lot of different kinds of people. Yeah. But now like this is a different type of industry where I'm around like other workers, but it's other like grown ass men working at different. It's basically we're working for like a big project on landscaping. Yeah. For like this big house they're trying to sell. So we work for a contractor, and the contractor also hires like a bunch of other type of workers, like painting and building the house itself, and we're the landscapers. We do the dirty work.
So it's just like different compartments. And like in a different. In the same house with different compartments.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, you see other people working on different things. You hear a lot of different like machinery work from people chainsawing.
Did you did you ever like reach out, or have they ever reached out to you and talk to each other, or just specifically just work? You guys are just working.
I think like specifically mostly just working, but sometimes we would run into each other and maybe.
Have like small talk.
Yeah, small talk. Like my dad even had small talk with someone that we've even recognized from a previous project like a year or two ago.
Okay, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's interesting. And usually we're only around people for those big projects, but when we're doing like landscape maintenance, it's just me and him, and maybe the customer sometimes.
I feel like that job specifically, like this is based on my opinion. I never had experience working landscaping or whatever.
Yeah, it's hard ass work.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Some of them are. Yeah.
I always see your like hand scalps and shit.
Oh yeah, I got like calluses and shit.
Calluses.
Yeah. Like especially moving big ass fucking rocks.
You always have like scars and shit.
Yeah.
But sorry, what I was saying is that in my opinion, I feel like landscaping. For me personally, if I was in your situation, I would like to be alone in landscaping, and just like put headphones on.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, we
put my earbud
like off camera. We talk about this. Like you always like put an AirPods on or whatever.
Yeah, I'm always listening to podcasts while working.
Just working. Like you just want to be alone because you just want to get the work done. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're gonna be listening to some of the instructions going on and like what to do and stuff.
Yeah, that's why I only keep one earbud in.
Yeah, but other than that, I would just fully be alone and just start working and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a vibe for sure. Like
that's probably why you crave not so much, but like crave social energy.
Yeah, especially lately.
Yeah, like, because like you've been, I guess you just been in your own head and or just listen to podcasts.
Yeah, especially this year. Like I mean I already talked about it, but yeah, just from like switching to this different job. Like I've always worked for him, but I work for him like exclusively now. Like full, whenever he's working, I'm working with him.
Well, like you said, you went from working with like several guys that you used to work with.
Yeah, around my age even.
And then now you're working just with, one person, specifically your dad.
Yeah, and everybody else. If we are working at a big project, there's other people. Yeah. But they're like
majority of the time, but majority of the time, they don't really just be talking to you like you were at the restaurant. They'll just be working majority of the time.
Yeah, majority of the time.
I mean, like passing by, you guys will have small talk, but you guys won't have
like some people will be friendly, some people are not so friendly.
Yeah, I'm sure some of them just want to like, oh fuck, I just want to get this work over with.
Yeah, there's some people like that. Yeah. But some are not like so douchey too at the same time, which is nice.
This might be wrong, but I heard construction workers they just like to just work. They don't really like to talk. They just like to be.
They are kind of quiet. I've noticed. Yeah. Like they're as quiet as us, really, because they're just like focused.
They just want to get the job over with.
Yeah, I can get that vibe from them for sure. Yeah.
Personally, for me, I don't know how I got myself into customer service and working up front. I just thought it was easy, and it was easy, and
Yeah.
The pay was decent and it was good. I don't even like talking to people like that.
Yeah, me too.
But I think working at a restaurant, it brought so much of my social like ability out. Like I was so uncomfortable like talking to people back in the days, but now I'm so comfortable like I guess having small talks and just talking about some random ass shit.
Yeah, and for me, I'm still a little uncomfortable because I never got that type of practice or as often. Because I only worked up front a couple, 3-4 times, I don't know, but not enough to feel comfortable.
Yeah, but sometimes, you know, I'll be like, oh, like, I don't really want to talk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess I'll just shy away from not talking.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like that, too.
Sometimes when people, like, have small talks with me and I just, like, I feel like I don't really want to socialize with people.
Yeah, you say like the bare minimum.
Yeah, and also like sometimes I freeze or like I just say something random. It's not really small talk. I guess like awkward between the conversation between the
and then
other
it just
person.
ends after that.
Yeah, and it's like okay, let's move on from
that. True. It could really depend on the person and the topic though.
Yeah. Like recently, a lot of people would come up to me and my girlfriend would just say like random shit.
Oh,
or,
interesting.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like I don't know.
Almost like a double date or something.
No, it's not a double. It's just always some random people just coming up, talking, like having small talk.
Interesting.
With either one
just
of
like
us,
casually,
and we're just like awkward, just like you know, being like all friendly and just trying to like
just kind of going with it.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry, that was off topic a little bit, but like back to the topic of being alone. I think being alone has so for you viewers, I just want to say being alone is not a bad thing specifically. There's the benefits of being alone and then there's not the benefits of being alone. I think having the balance of being alone and not being alone is important. And the reason why I want to talk about loneliness is because I feel like a lot of people out there like to be alone but are being made fun of. And some of you guys don't care, some of you guys care, but just a heads up, it's okay to be alone. I know like you guys be seeing like your friends on social media and like having a great time going to a party, but you're just at home like gaming or like doing like your nails or whatever. But it's okay to have your personal time and not do those things with those people. You know?
It's good to have like some moments to recharge.
Yeah,
and it's good to reflect on things too, but not overly reflect to the point you're stuck in your head.
Prime example. So another like a discussion we had before was the mental health podcast was that when I was going through my situation, I was alone the most, right? And like I said, I would always see my friends on social media doing parties or whatever like that. Yeah, I felt alone, but like, you know, I'm just gaming, escaping reality. But like, I felt great gaming. I felt great being alone during that time because like, you know, I'm just having a great time escaping reality and not thinking about being depressed and stuff like that.
It kind of goes back to that topic we talked about how like. Video games is kind of like an escape from reality.
And then like also how social media fucks up, you know, our mental mind too, because like sometimes it'll make you really feel like no one will be there next to you and you're just all alone in the world.
And sometimes you get too used to it.
But in reality, it's okay to have personal time to do, I don't know what the fuck you like to do. You know what I mean? Like if you like to game and while your friends are partying, that's totally fine. Just fucking game. Don't worry about I need to go to the party with these guys because they fucking making me. Like it's okay to like they'll be like why would you rather hang out, like why would you be alone than like do this and that? I'm like, dude, just because I like to be alone and have my personal time. Like I don't like to always like fucking party with you guys. You know what I mean?
True. Because you're like more balanced. You're like a 50-50 on introvert. Extrovert.
I like to say I'm a balanced introvert and extrovert. I sometimes there's just days I just want to settle down in a home and just be alone. So it kind of
fluctuates a little. Too,
and there's days I just want to be like out. And
that's
just,
fair.
It just really depends on the mood, you know what I mean? Like I'm not always constantly, even for an extrovert though, I feel like it's okay to just settle down and just do your personal things.
Have you ever done like a personality test on the percentage of introvert extrovert for you?
No, I just know, to be honest, I think I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert, but there's definitely some extrovert in me. Like I want to say like
it can range a little.
I want to say like 30 35% extrovert.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, the rest.
Yeah. Actually,
introvert.
it's funny because I did do a test myself, and I was 70% introvert, and I have a little bit. 30% extrovert. Yeah, because I still have that little bit of extrovertness into me, just a little bit.
But I mean, either if you're introvert or extrovert or like in between or more than another, I think it's okay to be alone and have personal time.
Yeah, true, that is okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
You don't need to go to the gym with your homie every fucking day. You don't need to fucking party every day with your friend. You don't need to hang out with him every day. It's okay to just be like, okay, you guys do your own thing today. I'm gonna do my own thing today. I just want to just chill at home, play some video games, or just work out, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, or the best excuse instead of
just
partying,
like I just want to work alone.
Yeah, instead of partying, you can go work.
Yeah,
to make up for that time.
Yeah,
turn that party time into money time.
Yeah, basically. Exactly.
Because time is money.
Like we talked about before, not all your friends are gonna have the same goals as you.
Yeah, everybody's different. Everybody's in their. When you think about it, everybody's in their own world.
Exactly. Everyone has their own goals. You know, and then their success and where they want to be.
Yeah, even your best friends will be a little bit different than you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Doesn't mean they're not your best friends too. It's just.
And you have like different types of friends for different like hobbies and different things.
And these I know our target audiences for our channel specifically ranges like everywhere. But I'm trying to target this specifically to high schoolers. Or anyone below, like still in, you know, public school or whatever, or school in general. Where they like anywhere below college.
Where they still have enough time to fix their loneliness.
Yeah, anywhere below college. I just wanted to let you kids know that, it's okay to be alone and to have your personal time. And then just a heads up, not all your friends from high school are gonna be your friends. In adult life.
That's a whole topic itself, because like you could separate from your old friends because you got other things going, like you might have different work spot, different school, or just moving out in general.
And just a heads up, you're gonna have to find.
I think that's common too.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to find a way to learn how to be alone and do things alone. Even eat alone or like do stuff alone.
Actually, one positive I can take about loneliness is I got so used to it, I felt like I'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Being alone after like even a breakup, maybe because
in high school, I
spent most of my life like that.
Because in high school or whatever school, you're constantly surrounded by people. You're constantly talking to people. You're constantly talking to your teacher. Even if you're alone in high school, you're still constantly talking to a teacher or somebody, right?
Yeah.
But
I've even met like close friends in high school, but where we still like keep in touch with each other, but we're long distance friends now.
But you guys don't like hang out every day or grab food every day.
Not like back in the day. Like
like for example, like me and you know, back then we used to hang out a lot. Every like I want to say like about every day, you know. But like now, like I mean, we still hang out as adults. I'm just saying, but now we don't hang out as often like we did in high school. We would always have our own personal time doing it or whatever, you know. Fuck whatever.
And I feel like I moved out in the perfect time and have my own space. Yeah. Because like alone time is even more valuable now. So the timing could be worse.
Right. Do you mind we speak about that?
I don't mind.
Yeah. So Thomas used to live in the living room of his dad and his girlfriend's place.
And I'd still feel lonely, except I wouldn't even have my own space.
Yeah, he wouldn't have his own personal space to be alone.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I actually
he was being lonely, but I wanted not having that space to be lonely.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable years of my life. It was like 7 years straight.
Yeah,
and I was so sick of it. I was like, I'm gonna move.
I'm actually so proud of this guy. He moved out, got a new place.
Yeah, a year from now.
If you checked out our old podcast, you could kind of see the old setup back in the day.
I graduated and moved out. We went from a year from now.
We went from making podcasts from the desk to that's a big improvement back then, and then back then this living room now.
True. We had to worry about anybody like interrupting the pod if somebody walked in after work.
Yeah, I think back then it was so hard for us to work on stuff was because we weren't able to work within our own schedule.
Yeah, time restrictions.
We had to work within his dad and girlfriend schedule.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
that was tricky.
We try to do as much as we can, back then.
Yeah, and I felt more anxious having to always be on edge about that too. That's why I was never good at podcasting.
Another big thing we were doing back then was we were making music, and it was kind of hard to be alone to make music for Thomas because there's always noise surrounding him.
Oh yeah, I'd have to literally record my song every time they're gone. Yeah, which would be very specific hours of the day.
And then there wasn't enough space for him to really record too, even if they're in the house.
Yeah, very tight space. Yeah, it was like a little apartment that was affordable.
And also like all the noises around his his neighbors. Oh yeah,
like there's chickens, there's dogs, there's stompers, and there still is to this day. And my dad gets real pissed from that.
Funny story is that me and Thomas always make a joke about his upstairs neighbor always fucking.
Oh yeah.
Because we could always.
I think that was like the old neighbor.
Yeah.
That moved out.
Yeah, but the funny story is that we always say like, yeah, they're definitely fucking.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Because like
there literally was.
Yeah, because they're always the like we can always hear like fucking noises and shit. It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. It was mostly the woman moaning.
Yeah.
The man was quiet.
But what we're trying to say about that story was that going off topic from there, but what we're saying that now we're being on topic, but what we're saying is that Thomas was feeling lonely, but he couldn't even avoid being actually alone because there's people surrounding him.
It would drive me crazy. It actually affected my mental health negatively.
Yeah, and that's probably why a lot of people like move out of their parents.
Yeah, I was super motivated to move. About my 7th year living there, I was like, "Fuck this shit." It's like depression was seeking in a little bit that way. And I'm relieved.
But now Thomas has a healthy alone time.
Yeah, I feel way better, and my sleep's way better too. On top of that,
on a unhealthy alone time.
Yeah. That's why I feel like my spirits are stronger, like more than usual. I do go through a lot of ups and downs, but I can handle the downs better than I used to.
Yeah. And I mean, well, yeah, like you said, your schedule is much better. You're able to sleep better. You're able to follow your own schedule, not your your dad's girlfriend's schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, that sounds like a dub.
Oh, yeah,
for sure. Thomas.
Yeah, I gotta give myself a dub, too.
Yeah.
But loneliness has never been so much better till now.
No. You're not wrong. Yeah. And,
I still get too much of it lately, but it's, like, good timing, though.
Also, I mean? Like, a negative thing for me when I'm alone is that I don't really... I get distracted, too.
Yeah.
Like, I tend to, like, not do much when I'm alone. Like, I like to, like, either be on social media, lay on bed, watch TV.
I get that, because I feel like I do the very specific things I usually do.
Or play too much video games. Yeah. Like, I get too comfortable where I'm just like, wait.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about this one.
Yeah, especially after your first rip of the Mary Jane, and then you just settled in for the screen
speaking
time.
About that, like, smoking weed was the worst feeling of being alone. Because for me, I would always get anxious, and I was getting my head even deeper.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I would always talk in, like, my head is constantly always talking to me, like, like, why are you being alone? And you see, like, all these other people, like, hanging out on Snapchat or Instagram and stuff like that, having a great time, and you're just, like, alone in bed playing video games. But it's okay to do that, but, like, in your head, your head is, like, battling, like, oh, look at you, you're a fucking loser, you don't have any friends and shit like that.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because, like, weed is what I kind of coped with being alone. Like, on top of what I already do regular with the weed, is kind of, like, helps me cope with it and be okay with it.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I do it too much, sometimes it does get in my head that I'm just overly being alone and doing my own thing sometimes, but... That's why I feel like balance is good, and I could always use, more social activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I feel like being alone is great, and when it comes to, like, finding that balance.
Yeah.
And you definitely found that balance for yourself. And for myself, I don't think I completely found that complete balance. But I have, like, somewhat of that balance. Like, I'm able to do my chores. I'm able to do, stuff. But when it comes to, like, video games, like I see it and I'm just tempted to play when I'm just alone.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Like I just spend all my day playing video games. I could do that for hours and days and not like, you know, just not be in reality.
Oh yeah, you would play video games more than you're watching whatever.
Yeah, honestly, if I didn't need to work and live life, I would be playing video games because I love playing video games.
Yeah, that's like one of the dream jobs, like being like a
Twitch streamer.
Yeah, a streamer or even, you know, just record games you like.
Honestly, I bet all those Twitch streamers were alone, just fucking gaming and just recording themselves and talk. I guess they're not alone is when they're talking. Yeah,
that's how they can pretend they're not
Twitch viewers.
That's a good way to pretend you're not alone.
Yeah, but
socially engaging with the audience.
Yeah, but I feel like you had to be alone to like be so good at a video games too.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah. Or you could even be bad at it.
Well, also, I guess you're constantly. I guess you're talking to like online people too.
Yeah, but you get a mix of like people who root for you versus people that criticize you really harshly.
Yeah,
like a lot of streamers deal with that. I think deal with like harsh criticisms that they.
You know what's funny?
Mentally ready for.
You know what's funny that me and your brother actually talked about this with Desmond. That there was a time during COVID, you know, that's when everyone's feeling alone.
Oh yeah, that was like the peak of loneliness for like the majority of people.
Yeah, exactly. But I felt alone too. You know, we couldn't go out.
Oh yeah, especially like texting. Earlier on.
Yeah, I was barely texting anybody.
Oh yeah, 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, so the only people I was talking to was my online homies on Xbox.
Oh yeah, I bet they're stuck online too. Yeah,
I bet they won't even watch this. But shout out Buck, that's my boy.
Oh, nice.
He lives in Minnesota.
Is that his name or his username?
I think that was his name,
but
I'm not quite sure.
Could be a username too. Who knows? I guess.
But I think he lives in Minnesota or something. But he plans to move in Florida. But we played GTA. We were talking. We became friends. Started playing Call of Duty and stuff like that.
There's some those are some type of friendships. That
and then I started playing with his roommates and stuff like that. And we built a connection. Like it was kind of weird. Like we were able to talk about a lot of stuff. And just play video games.
Oh, nice. Kind of just naturally flowed like that.
Yeah, it's just like having your guys at the bar playing pool and just having a great time and just talking.
Yeah, that is.
But it's the same thing, but just on video games. But I guess you're not drinking, but you're still having a great time talking. Yeah, true.
And I feel like that kind of helps being a little bit less alone, especially if you're like directly talking to somebody.
Yeah, and then
you're like half alone and half not at the same time.
Yeah, the best. Well, see, the best part is that they always included me into the video games. They always ask, "Hey, do you want to play this or that?"
They're pretty welcoming, which is nice. Yeah.
And speaking about that, like I feel like there's times you don't need to be physically alone. Like if you have a friend like across the country or something like that, or like another country, and you're constantly talking to them on like FaceTime or whatever. There's a sense that you don't like the sense of not feeling alone, if that makes sense. Yeah, you don't have to like physically be in their presence.
Yeah, true. Because you can
in order to feel not alone or alone, you know. What I mean?
Kind of. I mean, it'll never be like in person, but it is like the next closest thing.
Yeah,
like I'd say. Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously you're alone in the room, but like I feel like in that sense.
Especially on video call, you're less alone. I remember back in the day. My brother and I would do video calls back when he was more lonely. Yeah. And sometimes that'll help like not feel as lonely,
But
because we live in different states.
Yeah, and then like even when we're talking about Twitch streaming, they're not alone because they're reading like the people like typing like, hey, like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And they're like always reading back the comment like, hey, thanks for doing this, doing that, or what I mean. Those Twitch streamers, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Ninja.
It really varies.
Speaking of Ninja, you got that Ninja headband on, buddy.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, this time I got gray. Last time I had white.
You just need a blue hair to be a ninja.
Oh yeah, I do.
Play some what's it called, Fortnite.
Oh yeah, some Fortnite.
But yeah, speaking about that, I think this will be a good time to leave on the break.
Oh yeah.
And about the Twitch streamer and Thomas looking like Ninja.
Oh yeah, just need that shit blue.
Yeah, so we're gonna take a quick break here. Appreciate that, guys. You know what's funny, guys? I'm just gonna say this. Before we even record, we always get ourselves situated.
Oh yeah.
And we do a moment of silence, and then we clap. Boom, clap.
Oh yeah, that's what we do every time.
It's just for Thomas to be able to edit our videos.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to find that synchronization. You see that peak of audio, and then you just match that up with the video audio, you know.
But guess what? We back on the pod.
Yeah, we back. No camera technical difficulties. I mean, while recording at least so far. Yeah,
I like that.
Nice.
I mean, as you guys know, this topic is about loneliness. We did a whole 30-minute conversation about it.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. We discussed the benefits.
Sometimes it's hard to keep track of which topics to get to next. Sometimes.
Yeah. What I was saying is that we were discussing the benefits and, you know, not the benefits of being lonely.
Yeah. Like the balance of it.
Also, off topic from loneliness. I want to say Desmond is gonna be back soon. I know he's out of the picture right now, but he's not out of FHF. He just, you know, dealing with some personal things.
Yeah, for sure, which is understandable.
You know, FHF, Family Helps Family, always looks out for one another.
Yeah, we work things out still.
That's why we name Family Helps Family.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We want to be helping.
We gotta look up to that, you know, that brand, you know?
That standard and that brand. Yeah.
Got to be consistent with that.
I say right now it's June. Well, you guys
the middle of June.
Yeah. Well, you guys wouldn't know because we do these podcasts
in advance
in different time zones.
Yeah, sometimes they get posted a little out of order.
Yeah, and sometimes we might have not posted till like end of summer.
True.
But we'll see. But Desmond,
we done some in spring.
If you haven't seen Desmond will be back. If you haven't seen him in the shorts, you know, because he's been taking his personal time doing his own thing. But he'll be back. You know, well, we missed him too, and he'll, you know, he's a big member of our team here, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to appreciate Thomas taking the load from Desmond's work, and, you know, we're me and Thomas just been just grinding it out, just trying to do our best
we found a middle ground, and you know, it was a fair middle ground.
We've been able to work it out and share the work.
Sure, yeah, and it was smooth from there.
Yeah. But yeah, so going back to the topic of loneliness, off camera, Thomas had some questions or some topics he wants to talk about.
Yeah, there's actually I had a few
referring to loneliness. So what were those topics?
Well, I had a few in my head, but to start off, I feel like we should talk about how like screen time and social media has like affected loneliness over the years, like more recent and more modern times. You know. Yeah.
What specifically are you aiming at?
Well, how I feel on this topic is that I feel like obviously screen time has affected us to be less socially adaptable because like we get so used to it, and it's like, for example, like sometimes to avoid strangers you can just have 2 earbuds in with like your iPhone up in the bus or whatever, or wherever you are in public. Yeah, and you can easily ignore shit.
I guess
nowadays
it's not social media, then it's more like technology.
Yeah, I'd say that's why I said screen time.
Oh, okay, screen time.
Yeah, screen time's probably like the best way to put it. Yeah.
You're definitely not wrong about what you just said.
And I'm addicted to screen time, so that's a big factor, yeah.
You know, when I was riding the train to work, I would always just fucking put my AirPods on, blast it,
tune out,
blast it all the way to the max. Not even joking.
And when someone's just like, "Sir," you can't even.
Yeah, I would try to ignore it because there's always some random ass people coming up to you trying to talk to you when you just want to chill. It's
not always good social interaction.
Yeah, and then it's the middle of the morning. It's like early in the morning. Like you can't be fucking bothering a guy who's barely waking up.
Yeah, some people are socially unaware.
And as you know, I mean, I work out before work, and then I had to get ready for work, and all of that is just like a whole like disaster for me because like I'm already angry, not angry, but like annoyed like because irritable, like I didn't get that much sleep. I'm trying to get sleep. You know, I had to go to work, and I had to fucking ride a train with a bunch of strangers trying to bother me.
I know what that's like. I took a bus all the way to Oregon.
So this, you know, funny story I want to bring up off this topic is that, so basically I was doing my routine, just working out, got home, showered, got ready for work, drove to the light rail station to park my car, got onto the train. I sat in the middle of the train specifically because a lot of the other parts of the train was taken. This guy, I don't know, this random guy just came up, just bothering everyone.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of observing, like side-eyeing, making observations and stuff like that. And this guy was bothering this other guy. He had to take out his old earpods to hear some random shit and just put it back in, and then he had to leave. And this guy was trying to get my attention. I was just sitting there in the middle, reading my book, having my AirPods. He was like, hey. And I just like just kept reading my book, like pretending I didn't hear him. I actually heard him. But if it wasn't for my headphones, it would have kind of looked bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, true.
You know, he would have been like, you can actually definitely hear me.
Yeah, that's how I'd feel too.
Yeah,
like,
but I had my headphones, so he kind of just left me alone. Especially if you have both in. Yeah, he at that point, he left me alone. He didn't need to say whatever he needed to say to me. Obviously, I knew he was there to bother people.
Yeah,
he wasn't there to actually tell me something important.
Yeah. And it can feel a little uncomfortable, especially if they're like shady, acting shady.
And I think that saved me from having a weird conversation with some random ass person.
Yeah, every once in a while, sometimes you just run into that, even on the transit and shit.
Well, not gonna lie, like in Seattle, there's a lot of homelessness and drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
They usually tend to be on the train and buses, and the drug addicts are the most concerning one for me because they go crazy.
Yeah, they're unpredictable.
They're unpredictable. It's just you hear random screaming and stuff like that.
Some worse stories than
like
others.
Sometimes they're just yelling at some random shit. I'm just like confused. Like, what are you yelling at? But I just realized they're on drugs. So the best thing to do is just sit down, put on your fucking headphones, blast it all the way to the top, and ignore all the shit around you.
Yeah, the more chill homeless people are the one knocked out on heroin or something that don't really talk to you.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with being alone. But but from that story, what you're trying to say,
it kind of connected in a way.
Yeah, like screen time definitely.
Yeah, screen time's a big thing.
Takes you away from,
because it's a lot easier to like ignore things around you, whereas like 50, 30, 40, 50 years ago or whatever, like back then people were like confronted no matter what was being social.
They're not gonna put no radio up their fucking ears.
And they're probably those people back in the day were probably a lot more adaptable to social situations because they ran into it more times and can't really hide from social circumstances.
like a countermeasure with like some weird ass person, and then they're just like, you're trying to ignore them, but you have a radio. Just could put that radio.
Like back in the day. That would be funny.
But on topic about being alone, screen time, I guess a lot of people just put their headphones on.
Yeah, it's an easy escape. Like most people are on their phone, like in
listening to music
situations,
and then just being their peace.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. What were the other subjects that you wanted to speak about too?
Oh yeah, another one is like not so about like regular people like us, but I feel like
regular people like us.
No, not like regular people like us, because it's about famous people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why. And I feel like some famous, not all famous people, but
what are you talking about? We're famous, bro.
I mean,
we're FHF.
I mean, potentially.
Yeah.
But there's potential. But yeah, I was gonna say that not all famous people, but some famous people like actually like feel alone deep down inside because they're being used for most of the time, and then they develop these trust issues around most people, and then they've experienced through enough people to know who's real at the end of the day.
Yeah. You know the actor that did Jumanji?
Oh yeah.
Robin Williams. I want to.
Oh yeah,
the
original.
Actor.
The original.
Yeah.
I've watched that.
Yeah, I think the prime
It's been a
example.
while.
Yeah, I want to say the prime example is like that. I can't really speak for him because I didn't know what's going on. I think it was for mental health.
Yeah.
But he gotta feel alone because he committed suicide.
Yeah, I remember that.
So he had to feel alone
I remember that happening.
Suicide, but hey, don't. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's just based off what I'm thinking. That's not actually, what happened or whatever.
Yeah, it's like more alleged.
Yeah, but I think like my theory is that I think he was alone. He was going through shit. He committed suicide.
Yeah, you can kind of tell the way he like copes with his type of humor.
Yeah,
that's like wasn't there even a movie about him like medically curing like sick people in a hospital by humor rather than medicine.
I'm not too fond with like all his work, but there might be a movie like that.
Yeah.
But
I vaguely remember.
I'm not gonna lie, he's a great actor. I do find him funny.
He is funny.
R.I.P. to Robin Williams, if that's specifically his name.
Yeah.
I hardly can remember people's name. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I have trouble in names
but,
too.
Yeah,
but he seemed like a genuine kind of guy.
Yeah, but sorry, that was an example from based on what your topic is.
Yeah. That's a good example actually, especially since if he struggled personally with loneliness.
And I feel like sometimes with all the fame and all the stuff going on, I feel like you're bound to feel lonely because you're gonna be like, you're not really surrounded by whether who's real, who's not.
Yeah, definitely. That's how I feel about it too. Because a lot of them
people might be taking advantage of you.
Yeah. Especially if you're like that high up in the.
Well, speaking off topic from celebrities or famous people too, there's people out there probably be taken advantage of. Not knowing whether that's their real friends or
they probably go through the whole process.
And they're probably actually feeling alone and being used by these people.
Yeah, definitely. And as they grow older, they only stick with very, very specific people that they've been through, like before they're famous. Is probably the ones they trust the most.
Off the topic of celebrities, I want to bring the topic of like parties and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I go to parties or to whatever. I don't feel connected with people. I feel alone.
Yeah, me too. But the best way is just fake it till you make it, I guess, is the best way to do it.
Funny you say that because I remember this one time I went to a bonfire, not a party, but like a gathering event, I guess, in a way.
Kickback kind of.
Yeah.
Vibe.
There was a bonfire. It might be because I was high, but like.
Oh yeah, I don't remember if you told me just 1-on-1 or if you told me on recording.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's because I was high or not, but like I was just staring at the bonfire, while everyone was just surrounding me, talking to each other, having a conversation. I felt alone because
the opposite of bond.
Yeah, because I was there with my friend and. He invited me, but like he was talking to other people. I wasn't really talking to them. I guess I didn't feel well connected with these people. I felt alone. I just stared at the bonfire. My excuse was to them that I was just high and I was interested in the fire.
Oh yeah.
They probably thought I was some weird ass motherfucker just staring at fire and just not talking to anybody.
Oh yeah.
Some of them tried to talk to me, but I wasn't. Digging the conversation.
That makes
I just
sense.
want to be kind of left alone.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish I wasn't even at that bonfire.
Oh yeah, that's interesting you say that because
I'd rather be alone at home than being alone with people that I'm not comfortable with. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I completely understand because I can kind of relate to a certain degree where like you might be with your friend, but being around like.
Other people
that
you're not familiar
or
with.
Even like mutual friends you never hang out with them one-on-one but only hang out with them with your other friend and it's like a disconnect, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that's how I feel sometimes because I have more
and you kind of just feel like you're alone because sometimes you see other people connecting and you're like wondering why can I not connect with these people
exactly.
or why can I not associate myself with these people.
That's how I always felt because like deep down, I know like most of my friends are just mutual friends, while my friends who I hang out with like 1-on-1 or in a consistent group of friends that we usually hang out with.
Oh, also, I just want to point this out to the viewers. This was back in high school. My story.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I was in. I don't know. Of those. I was in a couple bonfires.
Yeah, I don't know if I was, so I'm like, right now I'm 23. Back then I was probably like 15, 16, I don't remember.
So earlier in high school.
Yeah, but I don't know if right now, me, in that situation, whether I would be alone still, staring at that bonfire, or would I be talking to people?
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting perspective where I'm coming at. Do you know? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I completely understand how I deal with that.
Yeah, like if I was to go back in time, I don't know how I would change that, or anything would change.
Yeah, there's different ways.
Because I'm a new human now. I have better experience talking to people, having small conversations, but maybe I might really not just connect with those people. And maybe that's why I felt alone. Some kids, just a heads up, don't force yourself to hang out with people that you're not comfortable with. Just because your friend invited you, your best friend or whatever, it's not always the best situation for you.
Yeah, unless you're like social hungry after 2 months of not socializing.
Even if you know that you're not fucking with those people, don't fucking force yourself. Please. Like, I swear, it's the worst feeling to be with people you're not comfortable with.
But sometimes you don't.
And trying to force a conversation with them.
I feel that, but sometimes you don't expect like who's gonna be there.
That is true, sometimes. But like, I put myself in that situation. I already knew I didn't fuck with these people. My friend asked me, "Is this okay?" I was like, "Yeah." It's just like, but like in my head, I was like, "Nah."
Yeah, and I feel like that's fine.
I didn't want to. I guess I cared what my friend really think about me, but now I don't really care. But like, I would if I could just rewind and put my 23-year-old in my 16-year-old body, I would be like, no, I don't want to hang out with those people. I want to just chill at home.
You'll definitely move around.
Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
Because it's fine to not vibe with. You can't vibe with everybody.
You can't. No, you really can't. You sometimes you can't connect and bond with everyone too.
Yeah,
like, and as much as you want, you can have small conversations, small talk, or talk about random shit. But
and I feel like that's most people can't really vibe with everybody.
At that time, I really did not want to bond with any of those people. I'm not gonna call out any names, but some of them are pretty fake.
Oh damn, yeah.
Back in high school, I don't know about now, but back in high school, I know they're known to be fake.
You could probably get a good sense of that shit just based off of their vibe,
And I just wanted to just be left alone, not really fucking with those people at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really wanted to get home badly.
That
time, my friend drove me there.
I don't know if I was there for one of them. One time I remember, I gotta go to work. I gotta sleep early for work.
I said that or you said that?
I think you said that.
You were there with me?
I remember a couple of them you tried to leave earlier than everybody one time. I remember.
That could just be a possibility.
That happening again?
No, that could just be a possibility that I actually wanted to sleep early for work.
So it's like a real reason.
Yeah, because
sometimes could be mixing those two things up.
Yeah. Because there's times where, so there is times that like I'm able to hang out in a group if I have my own people that I know I can hang out with too in that group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I'm thinking more like 12th grade, 11th grade.
Yeah, so like no, like I think I know what you're talking about. Not specific moments, but like let's say if I'm hanging out with you and like some other couple friends that I'm comfortable to hang out with, but in a group that I'm not really associated in as much as I'm often, I'll hang out with them because my friend wants us to, hang out. I guess.
Yeah. Just kind of go with the flow.
Well, he kind of wants to hang out with everyone. Okay, I get that. But like as long as I have you or like some other couple friends that I can talk to and just hang out with them,
because that's like kind of heightens your comfortable.
Yeah, I could just be talking to you while you know that friend talking to like other people.
Yeah, because that definitely that's a good like social boost. Too.
Yeah, it's just. Well, what do you mean? It's not really a social boost because I'm
more like socially stable.
Yeah, because I'm more talking to like people I'm comfortable with compared to like not comfortable with.
Yeah. I think it more like stabilizes the being comfortable, I guess.
Yeah.
More like
I know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not to like throw you under the bus, but I know you got into a lot of uncomfortable situations. in friend groups and just being left out and then just being alone.
Yeah, and that was like already like two or 3 years ago. I don't even remember exactly when it was.
If you don't mind, what was that? What was your mindset like during that time?
Oh, it was just like super jumpy. I just didn't really trust anybody.
Yeah.
In the friend group, because it's like I'd hear like
even like
contradicting shit.
Yeah, but also like conversation wise, what was like in your head? Like, did you want to talk to them, or did you want to? Or did you not want to talk to them, or just small talk?
It is funny you say that, because like I felt like when the friendship was more fresh, I wanted to talk more. Mm-hmm. But when things started running up dry, especially when drama hit, I wasn't really feeling it. Because, I mean, eventually there's not like very many interesting things to talk about if you're hanging out like every week, like back then. And then, eventually it hits really dry, especially.
But usually, when we hang out in a friend group, and let's say you're around me, and we're just with a random, like, you know, a group of people because it's from another friend. Would you feel comfortable just to talk to me and not to those other people too?
Probably talk to you most of the time.
Right, and not to those other people.
Yeah, maybe very little, only if it comes up naturally.
To be honest, viewers, me and Thomas, sometimes we hang out with our friend who hangs out with other groups of people, and we're just there.
That sometimes does happen.
And I'm not bullshitting. We're just there, just talking to each other.
Yeah, I think that even happened when we played pool a couple times too.
Yeah. Majority of the time, we're just talking to each other and not worrying about the other people.
I know that has happened a few times.
I think we're just enjoying each other's company and not the other people.
Yeah, I can kind of remember a few callbacks. Yeah. But that's how it goes. Like,
though, that's the only way to not feel alone, to have someone that you're comfortable with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Be there in that weird group.
That's definitely better than just like sitting there spacing out.
No, exactly, and not and just wanting to go home when you're in a social event.
True. Yeah, especially like you said earlier, if they talk about conversation topics that you don't really feel like it really resonates with you.
Damn. Like, I just wish I really didn't force myself to go. I don't know why I forced myself to go, but I did. I wish I'd never showed up.
Did you just feel like you had to build up your social resume or some shit?
I don't know what was going through my head. I guess, like, during that time, I already knew that, like, I'm not really great at making friends.
Yeah, I mean...
From myself. But, like, usually friends comes towards me. That makes sense. Like,
that kind of happens to me because I'm like, I never like initiate like conversation as often as I should. Yeah. And I kind of developed that bad habit of like just letting things come towards me. Yeah. And after years of that, I'm kind of adapted to being like that. But it's kind of hard to do the opposite and try to, you know,
also,
reroute.
I feel like,
Rewire.
a big subject that I just got from my head.
That just snapped.
Yeah, just snapped. I feel like when you're alone for a long time and you step out to socialize with people, you lose that socialization skills.
Oh, yeah.
And that you've been alone so long that you forget how to talk to people.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was kind of hesitant, but also eager to go to the party.
Yeah,
I was talking about at the same time.
And then when you've been alone,
you're gonna feel rusty, right?
When you've been alone for so long, and you go out to a group of people, and you don't know how to socialize, you still feel alone because you don't know how to socialize to those people. Yeah, those people know how to socialize to each other, but when you're there, you're just there, the present.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Being there, but not actually socializing.
Yeah, true. I got lucky. I recognized a few people there because like I said, I don't usually initiate conversation. I just kind of like go with the flow and shit. And luckily, it kind of happened.
It's just kind of crazy how, like, being social is a huge skill set.
Yeah, it is.
Like, if you don't practice it, it will fade away.
I know.
It's like...
I felt hella rusty. I feel like I just got lucky.
It's like literally like working out. Like if you like continue working out, doing it every day, you're gonna be stronger, and you know, being healthy and look good, right?
Yeah.
Same thing for like socializing. If you just socialize every day, constantly with people, finding new approaches.
Yeah, extroverts have the advantage.
Yeah. You're gonna be like going crazy talking to like random people, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially if there's already extroverts like top over you or whatever. I don't know if there's a word for that, but trying to top your social skills. You know what I mean? Like trying to like carrying the conversation basically.
Oh yeah,
and then you have like no control of it.
Oh, like
there's a lot
like
of like
the top tier type of shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of extroverts like that try to carry the conversation. You know?
They don't let anyone else talk.
I mean, depends on the spectrum
of who they want to talk.
yeah, true. They'll have the topic a very certain way.
Yeah, they'll lead the conversation.
Yeah, the whole time.
Basically,
yeah. And all I can say is like, yeah, oh, okay, cool, or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What other subjects you got that I know you mentioned that? Oh
yeah, and I had a little a funny like coincidence. Speaking of like parties and the party I've been to,
yeah,
it's funny. I recognize this one guy that I've been to at a previous party like 2 or 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. There has been a big gap in between because it's been a while. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been to a party, but it was a funny little coincidence that this guy acknowledged, just out of nowhere, this guy acknowledged that I'm making podcasts because we're friends on Snapchat. Mm-hmm. So he kind of saw me trying to, what's the word? I was trying to promote the pods. Yeah. It's funny how he acknowledged that just from me trying to motivate myself to go to the party.
Yeah.
And running into things like that's kind of funny.
Well, it's off topic from being lonely. I feel like a lot of people been like knowing me as a pod guy too. Like, it's a podcast guy. This guy.
That's what you're gonna be known for. Especially
this guy always promotes his podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to promote something I'm proud of, you know what I mean? And that I'm happy with. You don't know how long...
You should just embrace that podcast persona.
Yeah, you guys don't... Guys, you don't know how long it takes for me, Thomas, and Desmond to do all these shit.
And to be honest, I'm more behind the scenes type shit. I'm not always a co-host.
Yeah.
But my skills are mostly based off behind the scenes.
Actually, speaking about that, we're looking for a cameraman.
Oh, yeah.
A full-time cameraman that's... Not full-time, but like every Tuesdays and some Sundays.
Yeah. That's kind of our schedule.
Yeah, we're looking for a cameraman that's willing to help us out. Not much to do. It's just checking the camera, checking the audio. If you're interested, please comment or email us.
It's usually...
I'm not going to lie straight up right now. To be honest, we're not paying. We're not earning any type of money off YouTube right now.
But here's the catch: you could invest your time for a future potential of payment.
Potential pay, exactly.
Yeah, but that
if you're willing to work with us,
you have to wait till the monetization happens to reach these requirements. The only reason
why I'm bringing this up is because I want me, Desmond, and Thomas to be on the pod as co-hosts with our guests.
Yeah.
And we're trying to work that out, but we're trying to find a cameraman. The only reason why Tom is behind the scenes is because he knows so much about camera work.
Yeah, that's my skill set. My skill set is not. I mean, I'll give you props on your skill set's like be more of the talking kind. You're better with words. I'm more like my skill set's more like.
I don't know. I'm
editing and shit.
I'm kind of just like. Honestly, I was nervous about doing podcasts. Like, I don't know how I feel about like being on camera and just talking on.
That's how it always starts too.
But the more I realized that this, even me and Desmond talk about this all the time off camera. Mm-hmm. When like driving back to like Kent, we talk about like we make it so natural where we're just talking like we're just homies on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I forget that we have a camera here.
Oh yeah. I mean that's like a natural vibe.
Yeah,
though,
but like
which is good.
Also like majority of our topics, like I feel like we just discuss and just like have a good time and chill and talk about real life stuff.
It just flows easily.
And then like try to like learn new things and trying to like help others. Like build some confidence and like motivation.
Yeah, basically your guys' social connections like lubricated in a way.
But also like having all these interesting guests coming in, talk about their skill sets, different and stuff things like that. Hopefully motivating you guys, teaching you guys stuff.
We don't only like interview rappers anymore.
Yeah. Back then I don't know why, but we were just interviewing rappers. And but we did think about interviewing other people. But it wasn't a full set of like movement. We just we were thinking about it.
Yeah, true. And I feel like I was like technically did we start podcasting before it was cool? Or is it the other way around?
I don't know. It was...
Because there was podcasting existing still, but it wasn't as much. Like, everybody does podcasting now. That's why I say that.
Back then, our podcast was fucking lame. Dude.
I know.
It was so cringy.
It was like 15-minute ones, too, that were very short.
Yeah.
And I brought this up way earlier on, but I barely said anything.
Yeah.
I was way too careful what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot more I could say now, and I'm, like, less shy than I used to be. So that's at least good. Good improvement.
Well, since we've been off topic about the whole podcast now, I guess I think this is a good time to end it off.
I mean, unless I can think of one more thing.
Do you have anything else?
I mean, I might have to look at my little notes for the first time in the pod.
But
I was so
guys,
close.
I mean, I just want to be honest. Me and Thomas Desmond spend so much time making these pods, just because we like them. And hopefully some of you guys enjoy them, listening in, trying to like learn our experiences and hopefully build from that experience, and also learn from our guest experience and build from that experience. Don't be afraid to hit us up. If you want to become a teacher or a high school coach, or, you know, a person grabbing their GED after dropping out of high school, or just don't be afraid to hit us up. We'll link you guys up with some of these people that are willing to give you some advice and, move you up in life too. Yeah. We've been just trying to grind out videos and shorts and editing and stuff like that. Finding guests. Also, finding guests is a tough one, guys. If you guys are interested in being in this pod as a guest, let us know.
Yeah, because it gets to a point where
our email is down in the description.
Yeah, because it gets to a point where you interview everyone that you know that's fine with being interviewed. Yeah, and then once you go through them all, then you're trying to look for people you're still or trying to meet or whatever.
Also, just everyone's conflicting schedule too.
Yeah. Because Tuesdays are an odd one for people. Yeah, but yeah, I think we're good. I feel like. If I did bring something,
I think we aimed a lot of topics.
Because
we got a whole hour about talking about being lonely.
There's like too much shit to say. Like
we got a whole.
I can't stress that enough. Yeah,
we talked a whole hour. Yeah,
I feel like we have a good.
If you guys are
I feel like we have plenty of experience.
If you guys are still tuned in by this end of the video, I thank you so much.
Oh yeah, congrats, props to you.
Damn, I appreciate that.
Yeah, me too. Like
that love and support from you guys, it means a lot.
Because we're on and off topic just a little bit.
Yeah, we're at 161 subs too right now. At this time, this is what
49 more.
This is
till our
June
big milestone.
18 at 125. At 161 subs.
Those shorts really help boost it a little bit.
Yeah. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment. Specifically comment. That will help us so much.
Yeah, for sure. We could use more of that. More social engagement.
If you can't even listen to a full hour, please listen to our shorts. Comment too on that. The shorts will help a lot. The highest shorts that we got is 2.4K. Off the Navy pod.
Oh yeah, that was the best one. Mm-hmm. We started off with a bang for sure.
So make sure to check out some of our old videos too. And we out.
Yup. Have a good one.
That's a dub.